This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter W welcoming you to the season 2 finale video of the Poker Players KW Club. So we started with 30 men and women fighting it out tooth and nail for stuff. So we had some wonderful characters. So a little bit of preamble towards the final. We had the rounders table that had 11 people. Top 6 got to go to the finals. The other 5 had to go through the wild card. The people who made the finals from the rounders were Dan Baden Poker, Dale Wings Rule, Brett Diego 62, Poker Pat, Derek J, and Todd IM2D. So the other 5, Dwayne, number 1 Newfoundland, Dave No Show Sales, Jeff Palmer, Paul GBKW, and Jesse Shank were all in the final group. GBKW had the worst part. He tied Diego's for 6th place, but because Diego knocked out 7 guys, whereas Paul knocked out 5, Brett ended up getting into the final. And by the way, No Show Sales actually did qualify for the tournament after, well, the wildcard game. So they had 7 guys. So the Rounders had 7. The main pot was House 2, which only had 8 people. So they had 4 out of 8 to get in, and the other 4 had to go through the wildcard. Whoever got to the final, the 4 people who got to the final from that for regular season was Jibber B, Summer, Kevin Torbay, and Neil Craftworks. With the other 4, with Streeter, Jeff Streeter, who actually got taken out on the final day by charging Jimmer B. Jimmer charged hard. He won the last 2 weeks and put Streeter out into the wildcard game alongside Michelle Jeep Girl, Adam Clicker, and Jody Mustang. And then, of course, you got the gamblers, the OG crowd, as I call it, with 11 people. 6 of us got into the final automatically, and they were Dan Rhythms, John Hawkins, Ed the Hockey Dad, Krista KMFS 47, Ryan I Hate Humans, and Chris McBitter 61. With Ed actually getting into the final automatically because he KO'd 9 guys, whereas 7th place Mike Master Keys only had 4. The other guys who were doomed to the wildcard were Mikey 6977, Tim Fat Cat, Brian Bryber, and myself. So anyway, yeah, 5 people went down. And the funny thing about the wild card game, and the last video in this series, was that of the 5 people who went through, who had to go through the wild card through to the final, 4 of them went to rounders. The only guy in the gamblers group that didn't even make it to the final table was Tim Fat Cat, and he was the season 1 champ. Like, that was creepy. It was like, what the hell? Because Mikey 6977, Brian, myself, and Master Keys all went through in the wildcard round with Master Keys beating Brian for 2nd. Mikey took 3rd. I took 4th in the wildcard game, and Sales took 5th. So yeah, that was huge. Anyway, so it's time to see how it happened in the finals and who got KO'd. So the first person to fall was Jimmer B. Jimmer got taken out by Mikey 6977 from our group, as he had kings and queens, and Jimmer had nothing. So Mikey 6977 dined with kings and queens, slept in the other rooms, and dined on pork and beans. Old Dusty Rose promo. And Jimmer didn't give her a dimmer switch. So Jimmer went last in 21st place. You are the first weakest link. I do. In 20th place, the second guy to go out was Kappa, aka Master of Keys. So a shocker. I mean, the guy put up a massive effort in the wildcard game, knocking out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. 7 of the 12 eliminations were his own eliminations. And I guess he spent too much energy in the wildcard game because he lost his energy losing with he had a pair of queens, but Summer got him with a pair of kings. So, Mike, master of keys. You may be master of keys, you may be master of your domain, but you're not the master of this poker domain. Dimwit. You are the weakest link. I do. And then next out in 19th was Poker Pat, who had 2 pair of 9s and 8s. Poker Pat, I don't know if he had his cat, but Poker Pat was a pretty good player and all that. But the problem with Poker Pat is, guess who eliminated Poker Pat? It's a surprise. You'll be surprised. Guess who took out Poker Pat? This guy. Oh, wait, I'm not on video. Fuck. Like this guy. So I knock out Poker Pat. I actually did it. I shocked myself when I knocked somebody out. Because I only had one knockout the entire regular season / wildcard, and that was in week 1. So, man, I'm not known for knocking people out. I'm known for just hanging on and basically just waiting in the wings, or waiting in the bushes, if you will. Not that way, idiots. So, hey, Poker Pat, I hope you have your cat for comfort, you twat. You are the weakest link. I do. Next up on the list, in 18th place, was the guy who actually got into through the wild card, and he was the only non-gamblers player. That was No Show Sales. He had a pair of 10. There were trip 10s on the table, but he did not have the kicker, as Mick Bitter, one of our guys from the Gamblers, actually knocked him out with a Queen Jack kicker. So anyway, No Show Sales, he showed his true colors. Not really being that good. He got through the wildcard game, which is great, but in the end he failed. You are the weakest link. I do. And then comes 17th. I noticed that when I take a look at the chip stuff from time to time, I saw Krista KMFS like low, under 500 chips. She basically had nothing, and Diego got her with a pair of kings. So Krista, unfortunately, was the only girl. We only had 2 girls in the 3 houses. That's kind of pathetic. We need to be more gender neutral, or gender equality, if you will. I'm sorry, but that's the way I feel. Anyhow, Krista tried to prove that women were going to poke her, and she probably was, but not on today's date. She ended up in 17th place, so I'm sorry, Krista. I feel bad for you. I really do. But you are a weakest link. I do. And then in 16th place came Craftworks. He ended up being taken out by a flush by Diego. So Diego's put up his second elimination, and he knocked Craftworks out. Well, Craftworks, you probably are a beer guy. I don't know, but anyway, you didn't craft yourself a money finish. You crafted yourself a 16th place finish this season. You are the weakest link. I do. So we were down to 15, and the next person out was I Hate Humans, aka Ryan. Ryan basically thought he could do well. He went up against John Hawkins, who had a crappy first few weeks, but he came back and proved he was the poker shark we all kind of figured. Ryan had nothing. Hawkins took him out with 2 pair. Hawkins 1 pair would have taken out Ryan. But anyway, Ryan, I Hate Humans. Well, you probably like poker robots, but you hate humans trying to knock you out of a poker tournament. You are the weakest link. I do. Then next up in 14th was No, not me. Edward, my dad. Why did I say that? Fuck. I don't do do-overs. So anyway, Edward kind of is like my dad. I mean, it's sacrilege because, my dad died 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years on March the 1st. And basically, Edward is a protector, and, he treats me like his son sometimes. although his real son is a triple threat. He's a good actor, he's a good drawer, and a good video game. No, he's a good actor. He draws well. He does well in hockey, and he does well in video games too. Unfortunately, I think I only have two of those talents. I suck at art. I suck at sports. Playing sports on video games, I'm good at. And, you know, I could be an actor if I wanted to. But anyway, yeah, Ed, Mr. Hockey Dad, ended up getting taken out by Diego, his third elimination. This guy was the heavy favorite. I mean, knockout three of the first 8 people. Three of the first 8 eliminations was his own. Diego had a pair of kings with his fives, and Ed only had nines with his fives. So basically, Ed was gone. Well, Ed, you said you would take me out and all that, but you failed miserably. This is one time I actually get your goat. You are the weakest link. I do. And next on the list, in 13th place, was Wings Rule. Big Red Wings fan, probably when the Red Wings were dominating in the 90s and 2000s. Of course, since then, they have dipped down a little bit. Unfortunately, I hate to say this. My nephew is kind of a Wings, Bruins, Leafs fan. No, he's not really a Leafs fan. Why would he be a Leafs fan? My nephew's not a Leafs fan. Doesn't matter. I mean, I'll take his Wings. Like my nephew, I don't mind him being a Wings fan. I have nothing against Detroit. I really don't. I like some original 6 teams. Montreal. Oh, buzzing. Anyhow, so Dave Wings Rule got taken out by John Hawkins, who had a pair of nines to knock down Wings. Wings had nothing. Well, you soared, then you crashed in 13th place. You didn't get any money, Dave. You are the weakest link. I do. And then in 12th place was Baden Poker. I don't mind Baden. I mean, my maternal grandparents grew up in Baden with 12 children. I mean, like, good grief. You know, my mom is one of the children, obviously. My aunt, who I live with, is one of the kids. So anyway, Baden Poker was trying to help Baden do well because it's a thriving community. It was like a very small town when I went to high school. Well, my high school is Waterloo Oxford in Baden. So, yeah. Waterloo Oxford is one of only 2 schools that are not in the Tri-Cities of the Waterloo Region public high schools. Elmira is the other one that is not in the Kitchener-Waterloo or Cambridge, other than Waterloo Oxford. But anyway, Baden Poker fell flat as Hawkins got his third elimination of the day with a pair of aces. So Hawkins basically tied Diego with 3 eliminations. So we probably had like 2 poker sharks. So unfortunately, Baden Poker, you did not help the town of Baden. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. You are the weakest link. I do. And then came 11th with Derek J. Derek J. all the way. Let's see where. It was a battle. But Derek fell to Mikey 77. Well, 6977, I should say. So Mikey that guy took out his second guy. He took out Jimmer. So Mikey took him out with aces and threes instead of kings and threes. So unfortunately, Derek J., you failed miserably. You were kind of good. I thought you were going to make the final table for sure, but you fell just short. You are the weakest link. I know. And then came 10th place. The guy who was going to miss the final table by inches. And it was, I am 2D, and I went to sleep, and I know. Oh, fuck, I can't remember the song title. But anyway, he got taken out by Rhythms, who I actually pegged as my favorite. I mean, he was the regular season champion in the Gamblers. But I mean, the Gamblers had 10 guys in the final 21. So I think we had the advantage. And Rhythms finally got an elimination. Now, Rhythms knocked down 2D. But, I'm going to say this. I hate to toot my own horn. I didn't eliminate 2D. But I actually doubled up against him and left him with not 2, not 3, not 200 chips, but 1 freaking chip. He had a chip in a chair. Literally. If you watch the highlights, fuck, I didn't. Obviously, I was going to tape the whole thing, but I didn't want to waste too much recording time. And the fact is, I would have to get lots of permissions. But anyway, he ended up falling flat. I doubled him up, and he only had 1 chip. So basically, he was He was gone. He was gone, baby, gone. And I'm sorry, 2D, but I play for keeps. You are the weakest link. I know. So we got to the final 9. We had Summer, we had Torbay, Brian, myself, Mikey, 77, Hawkins, McBitter, Diego, and Rhythms. Not a bad table. If you look at the final table, I would probably put myself. I probably would put myself like predicting to be 6th or 7th. I figured, out of 9 guys, I'm probably gonna be 6th or 7th. I'm the 6th or 7th favorite, so I might have a chance. Well, the final table started off. I think it was the first or second hand. I can't remember, but after the final table was announced, there was a double all in, and Mikey 6977 said, "Screw it, I'll call you all in," and he did. He put up queens and threes and knocked out both Summer and Torbay. So Summer went down first, Torbay went down after, so a double elimination. Don't like to say it, but unfortunately Summer and Torbay, you both became weakest links. I do to both of you. With that double elimination, we were down to 7, and the seventh place ended up being Bryberg. I hate that name. I mean, I like the avatar, but like freaking Bryberg, Bry. I don't know. Anyway, he took on McBitter. McBitter wasn't really much of a guy. Well, he took down Sales, but McBitter had a pair of queens and knocked Bry out. Brian had a decent start and all that when I was playing at one of the tables with him. But yeah, he went down. All I have to say, Brian, is Bry. Bye. You think you got it? But you took 7th place. You missed the money. Ain't no lie. Bye. You are the weakest link. I do. So now it's down to the final 6. Only one person left until you got the money. You got to make money moves. And it was a quiet table. There were a lot of people who actually had chip leads and then chip counts, and then I won a few hands. Mikey won a few hands. Hawkins won a few hands. McBitter won a few hands. It was just a fight to see who was going to be the unluckiest guy around. And who ended up 6th? Well, this guy lost. This guy had pocket kings and lost to pocket aces. One of the weirdest things that could happen. And you gotta go with a flourish and all that. And guess what? It's the same guy who had 6th place 3 straight weeks in the regular season, which actually was shocking because for the first 3 weeks, this person actually had the same result. The only person to do that, the same result the first 3 weeks. And basically, one of the 6th places came in a time that there were 5 no-shows, and it's 6 out of 6. Well, you can probably guess. If you follow the videos and you follow the standings enough and see a lot of 6th places due to this guy's name, next to this guy's name, you know who it is. And of course you would know who it is because guess who's doing the voiceover? Guess who's putting the videos on his YouTube channel? Guess who's making efforts and trying to make money moves and actually did well with poker and all that with a secret elixir of Labatt's Blue and Pepsi to drink and all that. Trying to clear his mind, which was strange because it would get me drunk, but I wasn't drunk. I was fully focused. I was forward focused. Guess who it is? You guessed it. You see the picture on the screen, you can probably figure out that I'm talking about myself, and I lost. I am so fucking pissed. It's not even funny. Like, I'm the guy who ended up 6th places 4 times in the regular season, got through in the wild card, played a little too loose in the wild card, but I didn't care. I wasn't going to get any money. But the fact of the matter is I blew it. I had chances. I got in my own way a couple times. My brother even said so himself. Edward kind of helped me out. We were on the phone and all that trying to discuss strategy. But, the poker gods wouldn't allow it. So I ended up in 6th place and I choked. I could have had $145 for fifth place. $145 would have been great for me and all that. I still work 4 days a week at Canadian Tire, but still, would have been nice to have some pocket change and maybe grab some stuff. But no, I just had to fuck myself over. I was the weakest link. Cutter, you idiot. So everyone who was in the top 5 had the money. It was Mikey, it was Rhythms, it was Diego, it was Hawkins, and it was McBitter. All to fight for first place. The good news, in a sense, for our group, the Gamblers, was that 4 of the top 5 were part of the Gamblers and all that. And only Mikey, 6977, was in as well. He was the last guy in, who the 5 people who went through the wild card. He got to the top 5. He got his money. Great. But unfortunately for him, he ended up 5th. And he fell to a pair of 2 pair by Rhythms, who put up his second elimination of the day. Queens and 6s. You can't blame Mikey. I mean, I totally didn't think this guy was good, but yeah, he got 5th place. I think I played him in the live poker thing. But yeah, he got it. He got us good. He got 5th place. He got some money back, which isn't bad. I mean, to each his own. So anyway, Mikey 6977, I salute you in your Leafs avatar. But you are the weakest link. Goodbye. So it's down to the final 4. And the first guy to fall in the final 4 was Hawkins. I figured Hawkins was a poker shark. Edward thought he was a poker shark. He looked good, but then he was losing chips left, right, and center. And he fell. He had 2 pair, queens and 2s, but he fell to a flush by Diego. So Diego put up elimination numero 5 and got the flush. So Hawkins, man, he had a terrible week 1, which he blamed on his mom visiting him. And I thought, that's a bullshit excuse. But I guess I woke up the bear. Stupid, Cutter. Anyhow, Hawkins, great job. 4th place. I salute you and all that. But you didn't win, and so you are the weakest link. Goodbye. And then came down to the final 3, and McBitter knew he was up against it because both Rhythms and Diego had put up some chip counts. Diego at one time had over 50,000 chips, with Rhythms and McBitter both not even at 10,000. So it looked like Diego was going to crush everyone left, right, and center. It was like, who's going to take 3rd? Well, McBitter, who I'm kind of bitter about because one time he actually had a late registration and he scored higher than my brother, who was there from minute 1 and actually fell. So I kind of was bitter at him. But anyhow, Diego put up a straight 7, 8, 9, 10 jack, and McBitter went down. I know he's probably McBitter, but you know what? He took 3rd. I mean, he got a lot of money back, so you can't be too bitter. But I'm kind of bitter at him. And so would my brother if he was bitter at people. Anyway, he was the weakest link. Goodbye. So now comes the final 2, Diego and Rhythms. Diego had to put up a clinic. He had a 1st and a 3rd in his final 2 regular season games just to qualify for the final table. He had a lot of knockouts. He got in on a tie break. And, he looked good. And he would face Rhythms, the guy who was crushing everyone in the Gamblers' house. Of course, the OG squad, or the group of death, as I told my brother. Rhythms had it. It was 2 very good poker players who deserved to make the final 2. Well, of course, 5th place was Mikey 6977. That was Mike Alexander. 4th place was John Hawkins with $195. Mikey had $145. 3rd place was $260 for McBitter McBride. So now 1st place had $648. Can you imagine $648? That's almost as much as I make in one paycheck at Canadian Tire, working 2 weeks. It's close to my paycheck money, an extra paycheck. 2nd place was $372, not half bad. But in the end, it was a matchup of epic proportions, very epic proportions. But at the end, it was not meant to be for Diego. Although he took out a lot of people, he took out 6 guys. It was not meant to be. He had 6 eliminations. Rhythms had 2 coming into the final table, and the final 2. And unfortunately, thanks to Trip Kings by Rhythms. Oh, I forgot to mention that Rhythm a couple times doubled down, and he had a couple of double ups, but he picked up 4 jacks in one hand. But anyway, Rhythms beat him with the 3rd king, and Rhythms has normalcy in the world, as the Gamblers, who had 10 guys out of 21, actually did win the whole thing the whole time. So all is right in the world. I'm proud to be in the group of death. it meant that Rhythms had over $600 in his bank account. He had the money though too, and Diego didn't go home with nothing. Like the weakest, like second place, you get nothing, but he got through over $300, so he can't feel too bad. And the guy freaking had a great rally with a third and a first in the final two regular season games of his poker house, and then in the final table he took second with 6 eliminations. I salute everyone, but in the end, Diego, you took second. So let's all hail to Mr. Rhythms, Daniel Tardif. The TARDIS won it. He did it. He got the money. He won everything. He was a threat. I called it. I knew he was going to be a threat. And I called it. He won. I wish I had bet on Rhythms to win, because I probably would have got some sweet cash out of it. But no. Anyway. So anyway, let's play some celebratory sounds. So, all hail the winner, Rhythms. I know I shouldn't go away from this video without telling people that there was a consolation final. There weren't too many players who wanted to play in the consolation final, but Mustang Jody did win the consolation final over number 1 Newfoundland Dwayne. So Jody got some money back. Good news for him. He was but unfortunately he ended up being in 22nd place technically. So sorry about that, man. But anyway, great times. Bye all. And this ends the video. And this ends the season. Season 3 will bring some new stuff. But unfortunately, this will not bring any video work or stat work, because I've been fired. Well, you on that one. But anyway, I'll still play poker. Now I have reason to believe I am going to strike back, and I will get them back for trying to destroy me. But I hope you enjoyed this 9 video playlist, I guess. Don't forget to go to the playlist, Poker Players KW, on my YouTube channel, Cutter Historical. I'm still actively doing videos, and don't you forget it. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do for now.